these cities are spectacular in their own right, and then to light them up like this.
Yeah, wow.
The 70th anniversary of communism in China. All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, a woman has life-threatening injuries. Another woman under arrest after a shooting in Fitchburg over the weekend.
Mike Koval is no longer Madison's police chief. Why he says he suddenly resigned.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is 3 Now at 5.
Thanks for staying with News 3 Now. Fitchburg police have arrested a 22-year-old woman in connection with a shooting that happened yesterday on High Ridge Trail.
Police believe Shakita Lee shot and critically injured a 21-year-old woman who is now in the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Lee is being held on tentative charges of first-degree attempted homicide. Jamie Perez joins us live from where this happened yesterday with more on what we know. Jamie?
Police had originally responded to this area behind me after receiving a call that gunshots were fired. And when police got here, they found 2 women with gunshot wounds. And later, a 49-year-old woman had showed up to the hospital also with gunshot wounds, but she is said to be discharged from the hospital today. Now, police say that this investigation is still very active and still ongoing. Now, after speaking with some of the people involved, police believe this was a result of an ongoing family feud. Police also believe that everyone involved knows each other. They also have interviewed a 28-year-old who they believe may have fired one of 2 handguns they now have recovered and taken into evidence. Police Chief Chad Brecklin said they do not believe this is related to the still unsolved homicide of Shay Watson just several weeks ago, but they did have something to say about the recent gun violence happening so close together.
It would be great if people resolved their differences in ways that didn't involve firearms, but that's apparently not the reality that we live in right now. So we'll continue to do our part to hold people accountable for their behavior.
Chief Brecklin also said there could have been 7 to 8 people involved in the original fight that broke out before police arrived. They are still looking for what the original motive was behind all of this, and they are asking anyone with any information or anybody that may have taken video of the incident to report that to police.
Jamie Perez live in Fitchburg. Jamie, thank you.
A former Meriter nurse accused of hurting infants in the newborn intensive care unit pleads guilty to 19 counts today. 44-year-old Christopher Capeham was first reported in early 2018 when hospital officials discovered unexplained bruises on babies. Later, the criminal complaint would reveal far greater injuries, including a skull fracture, broken arms and legs. The judge clarifying today the guilty plea with Capeham's attorney.
They're intentional because of what he decided. If he pleads to it, he would be taking responsibility for what he decided to do.
They're intentional because he did it on purpose. And that's what he's going to admit to you today.
Okay.
After pleading guilty on all 19 counts, bond was revoked. The total sentence on all counts could be up to 148 years. Sentencing date has yet to be set. Trial had been scheduled for next month.
Police issued arrest warrants for 2 men in connection with a homicide on Madison's north side. Police issued an arrest warrant for 33-year-old Lee Arthur Taylor and 37-year-old Lawrence Thomas on first-degree intentional homicide charges in the murder of 19-year-old Malik Moss. Police say Moss was shot several times in the 500 block of Northport Drive Saturday night. Investigators say the victim and the suspects knew each other.
A Madison man was arrested after he hit 2 people with his car following an argument Sunday on Madison's southwest side. Police say 21-year-old Mario Rosas Reyes was involved in a dispute with a 30-year-old man and a 37-year-old woman. Officers say when Rosas Reyes decided to leave, he got behind the wheel of a vehicle and drove into the victims. The male victim said he thinks he was knocked unconscious. He was taken to the hospital for a head injury. The female victim suffered a wrist injury. Rosas Reyes was arrested on 2 counts of second-degree recklessly endangering safety.
Let's get a first look at the weather now. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield is on the warm and humid weather patio. Dave?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, Susan. I just got hit with a couple of leaves that have already changed colors, and we have temperatures close to their record highs for September 30th. So visible cloud track after the fog lifted this morning. We were off and running with those temperatures, and we're looking at mostly sunny skies in Madison right now on the Edgewater Skycam. Still warm and still humid outside. Temperatures in the mid-80s in Madison, still at 90 in Boscobel, 86 in Platteville, and 84 in Janesville. That's about 25 to 30 degrees warmer compared to this time yesterday. That's a big change. And heat index values are what we typically expect in the middle of July. 88 in Madison, feeling like 96 across portions of southwestern Wisconsin. Day planner showing those temperatures falling through the 70s with showers and thunderstorms becoming likely tomorrow. Some heavy rain is possible for southern Wisconsin. We'll go over that in my full first alert forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Dave, thank you. Mike Koval is officially no longer Madison's chief of police.
After 36 years with the department, Koval is retiring, hoping that the next chief can achieve what he couldn't. Our Amanda Quintana is here with why the announcement was so sudden. Amanda?
I'm told many officers came into work today shocked, unsure if Koval would even be there to say goodbye. He made the retirement announcement on his blog yesterday, effective immediately, thanking the community, even his so-called haters, and saying officers are constantly being asked to do more with less. We now know that's part of the reason he's leaving.
It has been a struggle that I'm no longer willing to engage in with the kind of time and intensity it requires.
On Mike Koval's first day of retirement, he's explaining his reasoning for the abrupt departure, frustrated that city government isn't making public safety a priority.
I thought when I saw the mayor campaign on a platform that didn't mention public safety, and afterwards I saw a budget where the priorities certainly weren't public safety, rather than me constantly hitting my head against a concrete wall, I won't do that anymore.
He says since 2015, he's been asking for more staff, wanting a commitment of 10 more officers a year, but he never got it.
What else can I do? I've used data. I've used the city's own staffing studies. I've used community focus groups.
In the end, saying he just couldn't convince city leaders to listen.
If all it was a matter of writing more checks for overtime, I suppose that's the more fiscally prudent thing to do than offering full-time positions, but it's not the way to deal with the officer's psyche and their mental health and wellness.
Simply put, he's become too tired of the politics.
And frankly, we're getting ready to go through another budgetary process where I am completely frustrated in terms of what I believe are important priorities for this department that probably won't be met, and I get it. But that doesn't mean I have to like it, that doesn't mean I have to agree with it, and it certainly doesn't mean I have to sit through it.
Convinced a new face and voice could get it done, someone he hopes won't let others minimize or rationalize what they know the department needs.
The worst thing that could happen to Madison, the worst thing is that they hire a lapdog who's just a bobblehead and does everything the mayor and the council says without objection.
Koval says as he leaves, what makes him feel angst and fear most is our current juvenile justice system, saying we don't have enough mentors, programming, or space to confine kids. Also saying part of him would like to be mayor, but he's not thinking about that seriously right now.
Amanda, thank you. With an interim chief in command, we're taking a closer look at what's next for the Madison Police Department.
Assistant Chief Vic Wall taking over Chief Koval's duties for now. Rose Schmidt joins us to tell us what we know so far about the search for a new permanent leader here, Rose.
Yes, Madison Police Department's union president Kelly Powers was unavailable for an on-camera interview today, but he tells me that based on conversations he's had with the mayor, he believes the city will start a national search for the new Madison police chief. Powers says there are a good number of internal candidates, and the new chief should be balanced, reasonable, and able to bring Madison Police's staffing levels up. Interim Chief Vic Wall has been with the department since 1991. As a commander, he served in a number of roles, including in the West District. Alder Paul Skidmore says he believes Wall is up for the challenge.
He's going to do a great job. He is somebody that I've had the opportunity to work with as a lieutenant, a captain, and an assistant chief. He's going to be stepping right in. He's got great credentials. Personally, I hope that he applies to be the chief. I think he'd be a great chief. But we'll see how the politics play on this.
The Police and Fire Commission says it will announce its recruitment plans for the new chief in the near future, and the board will likely choose a department officer to act as chief at its next meeting on October 14th. Now, Powers tells me that the biggest challenge for the new chief will be understanding the, quote, uniqueness to Madison politics, which, as you know, Chief Koval is citing as a reason for his retirement. Madison Mayor Santi Rhodes Conway declined our request for an on-camera interview today, but said in a statement that she will work with the commission to organize a search for the new chief, and she wants input from the public and the department in choosing this new leader.
We have been through this before. This is always an extensive process. A lot of scrutiny involved, too. This will be very interesting to follow. Rose, thank you.
Thank you, Rose. An investigation is underway after a McFarland student was arrested this morning for posing with a toy gun and posting a video about a school shooting. The Village of McFarland Police Department was told that a 16-year-old McFarland student made a short video and shared it on 2 different social media sites before taking it down. The student was found at the high school and taken into custody. He told investigators that he thought it would be funny to make the video and that he did not intend to harm anyone. Officials say there is no belief that students or staff are in danger following this incident. The superintendent for the district released a statement saying, "We learned of this situation through our if you see something, say something approach to school and community safety. If you and or your child becomes aware of a potential threat to safety, please contact the police department immediately." Glacier Edge Elementary School in Verona is remembering a teacher who lost her battle with cancer. Lindsay Snow passed away last week. Snow had been a teacher for 20 years. To honor Lindsay, Glacier Edge is planting a red maple tree in front of the school to remember her and will also put a bench by the tree. Her co-workers describe her as a humble, giving, kind, and a dynamic person.
She was my best friend. She made everything so fun. And she made coming here every day a joy. And this is already a really great place to work. So she really was like the icing on my cake here.
There is a GoFundMe page for Lindsay Snow to help with expenses not covered by insurance. We have a link to her GoFundMe page on our website, channel3000.com.
A bipartisan group of lawmakers is proposing waiving state park entrance fees for 4th graders' families in hopes of getting more children outside. Wisconsin residents currently pay $28 for an annual park vehicle admission sticker. The lawmakers' bill would require the Department of Natural Resources to offer free admission to parents who can prove a 4th grader is a member of the family in the upcoming year. The DNR estimates the bill could result in up to $244,000 in lost revenue. The Senate Natural Resources Committee is expected to vote on that bill tomorrow. Madison's fall leaf collection officially started today. Now some things to remember for curbside pickup. Make sure your leaves and yard waste are piled at the street. If you are bagging, leave the top of the bag open. You can use plastic bags as well. Simply leave them at the terrace or put them in a refuse cart. You can also use compostable paper leaf bags or a tarp to protect the leaves from blowing away. There will be at least 3 rounds of this pickup this fall, 2 more in the spring. That all depends on the weather. You can also take it to a drop-off site. We have those locations at channel3000.com.
UW Athletic Director Barry Alvarez says he will not schedule any teams from California if they allow college athletes to be paid. The governor of California signed a law today that will let college athletes hire agents and make money from endorsements, defying the NCAA and setting up a likely legal challenge that could reshape U.S. amateur sports. That law takes effect on January 1st, 2023. Alvarez says if this happens, he believes those California teams should not be permitted to play for a national championship.
As a former coach and someone who had to go out and recruit athletes, you start thinking of ways that you can capitalize on this. And it's you have an excellent athlete someplace, you find him a sponsor, whether it be a car dealership or some business or individuals. This person is your sponsor. This is how much you're going to make. So you're paying players, and we're an this is amateur athletics, and so I'm very concerned with it, and I think it'll affect our game greatly.
The NCAA Board of Governors had asked the California governor to veto the bill, saying it would erase the critical distinction between college and professional athletes.
Badger linebacker Chris Orr is the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. 9 tackles, 2 sacks, forced fumbled against Northwestern Saturday. The Badgers look to stay undefeated. They'll take on Kent State Saturday at Camp Randall. The Brewers also make their 2nd straight playoff appearance tomorrow. They'll play a wild card game tomorrow in Washington against the Nationals. Milwaukee's Brandon Woodruff will get the start for the Crew against Max Scherzer. The winner will get the Dodgers in the National League Division Series. Tomorrow's game, 7:08, first pitch on TBS. More to come on News 3 Now at 5. Up next, President Trump takes aim at Democrats as they move forward with their impeachment inquiry, while he's also going after the whistleblower at the center of the probe.
And then coming up tonight at 6, a homicide investigation is underway in Columbia County after a man was found dead in his basement. We'll hear from his family at 6.
And the markets with some gains to start the week. The Dow up 96.5. The Nasdaq added almost 60, and the S&P is up 15. We'll be right back. House Democrats are forging ahead with their impeachment inquiry into President Trump as his team works on a response to the probe.
In a series of tweets today, the president and his allies continued to go after the whistleblower who set off the probe by exposing his phone call with Ukraine's president. Several congressional committees subpoenaed the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, compelling him to produce documents by October 15th. House Intelligence Chairman Adam Schiff told Scott Pelley on 60 Minutes last night that his committee may also hear from the whistleblower.
Do solemnly swear.
Your committee already has an agreement with the whistleblower that he will testify.
We have an agreement that he or she will testify, yes.
We're trying to find out about a whistleblower when you have a whistleblower that reports things that were incorrect.
So far, much of what was in the whistleblower's complaint has been corroborated by the White House's own notes about the call, but the president is demanding to speak with him or her. Meanwhile, a CBS News poll shows a majority of Americans at 55% support the impeachment inquiry, but the poll shows Americans are divided over whether the president deserves impeachment, with nearly a quarter responding that it is too early to say.
Well, let's turn to weather now. Get a look at your first alert forecast. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield. Dave?
Well, Eric, temperatures today only a few degrees off of their record high. Record is 88, set back in 1971 in Madison, and we're pushing into the mid-80s still this evening. On Doppler track, we've been quiet, but it will not remain that way for long. Some storms forming well to the north, but as a cold front slowly moves through over the next couple of days, storms will have plenty of opportunities to produce heavy rain and potentially flash flooding across southern Wisconsin as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. So alert days in the forecast for those reasons, for the flash flooding and heavy rain threat, as showers and thunderstorms are likely Tuesday. And then early on Wednesday, there will be a little bit of a break on Wednesday, and then another round of showers and storms coming through late Wednesday. The good news with that is that round will be a little bit faster moving through, so not as much of a concern for flooding there, but definitely a big concern with whatever comes through Tuesday early, starting at around 7. That's when the flash flood watch goes into effect until Wednesday morning at 7 in the morning. So we're looking at rain chances right now, so not too much going on. But as we get into early tomorrow morning, we really start to see that line go up, and it really stays very high. Those rain chances staying very high with widespread heavy rain possible Tuesday evening into Wednesday morning. And then again, we start to see those rain chances go down a little bit into Thursday morning. An excessive rainfall outlook is in effect for southern Wisconsin, including Madison and central Wisconsin. The moderate risk means that flash flooding, at least numerous events of flash flooding, are likely. So we really do need to pay close attention to this cold front as it comes through. We have a lot of Gulf moisture in the air, and really, we don't typically see this type of humidity this time of year. So we get a lot of moisture building up over the next couple of days, and that is allowing for the possibility of some heavy rain. So we'll watch that very closely. The almanac for today, 85, as I mentioned. 1971, we hit 88 degrees, so just a couple of degrees off of that record high for the day. It has felt like 90 degrees at times in Madison. Temperatures right now in the mid-80s in Mineral Point, still at 90 in Boscobel, and feeling like the mid-90s. So it's still a very warm evening ahead. Then for tonight, becoming mostly cloudy, breezy, with storms arriving late. Really, we're starting to see those storms for Tuesday morning. Temperatures in the upper 60s. For tomorrow, rain. And really, we're looking at the afternoon and evening for the bulk of that heavy rain, at least beginning. Not as warm, still quite humid with showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures in the 70s. So here is future track. We're watching this very closely, as I've been mentioning, with showers and thunderstorms starting to come through early on Tuesday. But really, we start to see that heavy rain show up during the afternoon and evening hours of Tuesday. Really heavy rain could be forming. And here's the problem here, folks. With this cold front coming through, it comes through very, very slowly. Typically, when we see fronts come through this time of year, they are out of here pretty quickly. But if we start to get storms training on one another, kind of back to back, we can really see those rainfall amounts pile up quickly. And for an area that has been so saturated this September as we start the month of October, Mother Nature doesn't care. The ground doesn't care that we started a new month. We still have so much rain on the ground and in the ground that this could all be runoff in some spots. So anywhere from about 2 to 4 inches of rain is possible as we head into the next couple of days. Luckily, we are calming down into Thursday and Friday. A nice fall day with sunshine, dry conditions on the way for Friday. We're back into the 60s with some more rain by the weekend. So here is a look at your first alert traffic update. Taking a live look at our traffic map here. We do have an accident on the Beltline and also on the interstate on I-39, a little bit closer to Stoughton, still in Dane County, that we want to make you aware of, and that is causing a few delays, still some backups on the Beltline. Here are your drive times. 24 minutes right now, eastbound University Ave to the interstate. So 24 minutes to traverse the Beltline, average speed of around 40 miles per hour, and some other routes in and around Madison a little bit slow. Middleton to Sauk City westbound, that's 19 minutes with an average speed of around 50 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic update.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Still ahead on News 3 Now at 5, new recommendations for eating red meat. We'll tell you what they are after a short break.
News 3.
New red meat guidelines are raising some eyebrows.
A panel of experts says there is no need to reduce red meat or processed meat for good health. Tom Hansen has more.
Guy Mashani enjoys a good burger once in a while.
I think everything in moderation is fine.
It's estimated most adults eat red meat and processed meat about 3 to 4 times per week, and experts have suggested less is better. But now new guidelines published in the Annals of Internal Medicine say most people do not need to lower their amount of red and processed meat.
After putting all of the studies together, some of them with millions of people pushed together into big analyses, they found that there were really very small health effects, if they exist, with respect to eating less red meat or processed meat and it truly affecting your health.
An international panel of experts from 7 countries is making its recommendations based on 5 large reviews of evidence. In one review, researchers did not find an important association between meat consumption and the risk of heart disease, diabetes, or cancer. Some major medical groups, including the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, are taking aim at the new research. The group filed a petition with the Federal Trade Commission to stop false statements, citing abundant evidence that links red and processed meat consumption to heart disease, colorectal cancer, and increased risk of premature death.
What we're seeing is that if you look at all of the evidence together.
Dr. Aaron Carroll from Indiana University School of Medicine says the new findings are not a green light to eat as much red meat as you want.
If you're eating a ton of meat, probably you shouldn't. I mean, it's everything in moderation. You shouldn't be going crazy.
Many experts agree, in moderation, red meat can be a part of a healthy diet. Tom Hansen, CBS News, New York.
It's almost dinner time, Susan. We'll have another check of your forecast in a moment.
So you think this is the last 80 of the year, baby?
I think so. Yeah, well, at least the last 80 for now, because we're in the 50s as we head into Thursday. In between, though, heavy rain threat that we are watching closely, becoming mostly cloudy with storms arriving late tomorrow. Alert days in the forecast Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yep, no 80s on there.
Oh, man. See you in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. CBS Evening News is next.